Ever wonder how cryptocurrencies actually work?
Yeah.
I mean, it's digital money, right?
Right.
But how do you stop someone from just copying and pasting bitcoins?
Yeah.
Like an infinite money glitch.
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
That sparked the whole blockchain revolution.
Okay.
And the answer lies in something called consensus mechanisms.
Okay.
They're the bedrock of any blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
ensuring everyone agrees on what transactions are legit.
Okay, so we're talking digital security guards for the crypto world.
Exactly.
I'm guessing that's where proof of work and proof of stake come in,
Uh-huh.
based on what I shared, right?
Yeah.
These articles from Coinbase,
Right.
Fidelity, Coin Bureau,
Yeah,
they all mention them as the big players.
exactly.
Ah.
Think of them as two different approaches to solving the same problem.
Okay.
How to prevent someone from spending the same coin twice
Right.
and wrecking the whole system.
Double spending.
Yes.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's start with the OG, proof of work.
Sure.
It feels like ancient history in the fast-paced world of crypto.
It might surprise you that POW actually predates Bitcoin.
Really?
Our sources point out that the concept was first used to combat spam emails back in the 90s.
Oh.
The idea was to make sending an email require a little bit of computational work, making it too costly for spammers to send millions of messages.
Wow, so fighting spam paved the way for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's a fun fact for the next crypto meetup.
Uh-huh.
But how did this email idea evolve into securing Bitcoin transactions?
Satoshi Nakamoto, the enigmatic creator of Bitcoin,
Right.
brilliantly adapted this concept.
Okay.
Instead of making emails harder to send,
Yeah,
he applied it to making blocks of transactions difficult to add to the blockchain.
got it. So
Yeah.
how does that actually play out?
Imagine a global network of computers,
Okay.
all racing to solve a complex mathematical puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
The first one to find the solution gets to add a new block of transactions to the chain
Okay.
and earns Bitcoin as a reward. This process is what we call mining.
So it's like a digital gold rush.
Yes,
But instead of digging in the dirt, they're crunching numbers.
exactly.
And this makes it secure how...
Because to tamper with the blockchain,
Yeah.
you'd need to control a majority of the network's computing power,
Okay.
more than 50% to be precise.
Got it.
This is known as a 51% attack
Mm-hmm.
and is incredibly difficult and expensive to pull off, especially with a network as large as Bitcoin's.
That sounds pretty secure.
Yeah,
But these articles also mention some downsides.
Yeah.
Like the environment.
you're right to be concerned.
Yeah.
All those computers constantly running consume a huge amount of energy.
Right.
Some estimates say Bitcoin uses more electricity than entire countries.
Wow.
This has sparked debate about the environmental sustainability of proof of work.
So is it a necessary evil for security?
Well, it's not the only way.
Okay.
And that brings us to proof of stake,
Okay.
which attempts to address some of proof of work's limitations, particularly the energy issue.
Okay, so less energy. But how does proof of stake actually work? Is everyone still racing to solve math problems?
Not quite.
Okay.
In proof of stake, instead of miners,
Yeah.
we have validators.
Okay.
Instead of spending energy on complex computations, they stake their cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
basically locking it up as collateral
Okay.
for a chance to be chosen to add blocks to the blockchain and earn rewards.
So it's less about brute computing force and more about having skin in the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
The more cryptocurrency you stake, the higher your chances of being selected to create a block.
Got it.
This system eliminates the need for energy-intensive mining,
Mm-hmm.
making it much more environmentally friendly.
That's a pretty big difference.
Yes.
But doesn't this create other issues?
Wow.
Like, what if only the people with the most crypto get to call the shots?
Right.
Sounds a bit centralized.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And critics often point to this potential for wealth concentration in proof-of-stake systems.
Yep.
It raises questions about whether it truly embodies the decentralized spirit of blockchain technology.
So it's a trade-off energy efficiency for potential centralization.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other drawbacks to proof of stake?
Well, while POS appears to be more energy efficient and scalable,
Right.
it also faces criticism for potentially being more vulnerable to certain types of attacks.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I thought we just talked about how POW has the whole 51% attack thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's different with POS?
It's true that both systems are susceptible to 51% attacks.
Right.
However, POS might have unique vulnerabilities
Okay.
because validators are publicly known. They could be targeted or pressured to manipulate the network.
Ooh, that does sound tricky.
Yeah.
So it's like a game of chess. Each
Yeah.
system has its strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah,
But if these are the main players in blockchain, are there real-world examples of them in action?
absolutely.
What?
In fact, we have the perfect case studies right in front of us. Bitcoin, the granddaddy of crypto,
Right.
exemplifies proof of work.
Okay.
Its longevity and security are a testament to the system's effectiveness.
But it's also known for its energy consumption, right?
Right, and that's why Ethereum,
Yeah.
the second largest cryptocurrency,
Mm-hmm.
made headlines when it switched from proof of work to proof of stake
Yeah.
in an event dubbed the Merge.
Ah, yes, the merge. It was all over the crypto news.
Yeah.
But what actually changed? Did it solve Ethereum's problems?
The most immediate impact was a drastic reduction in energy consumption.
Okay.
Our sources indicate that Ethereum's energy usage plummeted by an estimated 99% after the merge.
Wow, 99%.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
it is.
But what about other aspects like transaction speed?
Yeah.
Did that improve too?
Yes, transaction speed also saw a significant boost.
Okay.
But it's worth noting that there are still limitations and areas for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum's transaction speed is still being optimized.
Yeah.
And the move to proof of stake hasn't been without controversy.
Controversy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where it gets juicy. What kind of pushback did Ethereum face?
Well, one major point of contention is the potential for censorship.
Censorship.
Since validators have to identify themselves to participate in PS,
Right.
some critics argue that they could be coerced to block certain transactions.
Okay.
We even saw this play out with Ethereum's compliance with OFAC regulations.
Hold on, OFAC.
Yeah.
What's that?
OFAC stands for the Office of Foreign Assets Control.
Okay.
It's a U.S. government agency that enforces sanctions against individuals and entities deemed a threat to national security.
Right.
Because some validators comply with OFAC regulations, there have been instances where transactions on Ethereum were censored.
Ah, I see. So it's like a trade-off again.
Yeah.
Efficiency and scalability on one hand, potential censorship on the other.
Right.
This is definitely getting more complex than just solving math problems.
Uh-huh.
And what about Bitcoin?
Interestingly,
Yeah.
Bitcoin often benefits from what's known as the Lindy effect,
The Lindy effect.
which suggests that the longer a technology survives, the more trustworthy it becomes.
Okay.
Bitcoin's long track record and resilience, despite its energy consumption,
Mm-hmm.
contribute to its perceived security and stability.
It's like the veteran warrior who's seen it all and still stands strong.
Exactly.
So where do we go from here?
That's a great question,
Yeah.
and one that we'll dive into further after a quick break.
Okay.
We'll explore the current adoption trends and whether one system is destined to dominate or if we're headed for a future where both coexist.
Sounds good.
Welcome back.
So before the break, we were discussing whether proof of work might be on its way out with proof of stake taking over.
Yeah.
Right, because we talked about how Ethereum,
Right.
a major player in the crypto world, made the switch to POW-S. It seems like POW is facing an uphill battle, especially with all the environmental concerns surrounding its energy consumption.
Yeah.
What's being done to address that? Can POW become more eco-friendly?
It's definitely a hot topic.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of effort within the crypto community to find solutions.
Okay.
Some mining operations are transitioning to renewable energy sources like solar and hydroelectric power
Right.
to reduce their carbon footprint.
That sounds promising.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a significant shift, or is it just a drop in the bucket compared to the overall energy usage?
It's a step in the right direction for sure,
Yeah.
but the scale of Bitcoin mining is immense.
Right.
Some of our sources argue that even with a complete shift to renewables, the sheer amount of energy required might still be unsustainable.
Okay.
Others believe that technological advancements will lead to more efficient mining processes,
Right.
reducing the overall energy consumption.
So it's a race against time to see if POW can greenify itself before it's too late.
Right.
What about POS?
Yeah.
We talked about its potential for centralization and censorship. Are there any environmental downsides to consider?
From an environmental perspective,
Yeah.
POS has a clear advantage,
Okay.
since validators don't need to constantly crunch numbers like miners do.
Right.
POS systems use significantly less energy.
Okay.
The switch to POS is estimated to have reduced Ethereum's energy consumption by a whopping 99%, according to some sources.
That's a pretty compelling argument in favor of POS.
Yeah.
But what about those other concerns?
Right.
Centralization and censorship.
Mm.
Are those unavoidable with PS?
Yeah.
Or are there ways to mitigate those risks?
You're right to bring those up.
Yeah.
The potential for centralization is definitely a valid concern with POS.
Okay.
If a small group of wealthy individuals or entities control a majority of the staked cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
they could theoretically exert significant influence over the network.
It's like a digital oligarchy forming,
Right.
which seems to contradict the whole idea of blockchain being decentralized.
Yeah.
Are there any safeguards in place to prevent this?
Developers are aware of this risk
Okay.
and are actively working on solutions. Some key OS systems are incorporating mechanisms like randomization and delegation to distribute power more evenly
Right.
and make it more difficult for a single entity to gain control.
So it's an ongoing process of adaptation and innovation.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like they're constantly trying to stay one step ahead of potential problems.
Yeah.
What about censorship?
Right.
We talked about how Ethereum faced criticism for complying with OFAC sanctions. Is censorship resistance even possible with POS?
That's a challenging question,
Yeah.
as we saw with Ethereum, because validators are known entities.
Right.
They are more susceptible to pressure from governments or regulatory bodies.
Okay.
Some argue that this inherent characteristic of POS makes censorship unavoidable.
So are privacy and censorship resistance just pipe dreams in the POS world?
Well, it's not a lost cause.
Okay.
There are ongoing efforts to develop privacy-enhancing technologies for POS networks.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to make it more difficult to trace and censor transactions, even if validators are known.
It sounds like they're trying to build a system that's both transparent and private,
Right.
which seems a bit paradoxical.
Yeah.
But this constant evolution and adaptation is part of what makes the blockchain space so fascinating, right?
Exactly.
It's like watching a technological arms race unfold.
It is.
And it raises the question, could the future hold a hybrid approach?
Yeah.
Combining elements of both POW and POS,
Right.
maybe a system that can leverage the strengths of both while minimizing their weaknesses.
Potentially.
A best of both worlds scenario.
Yeah.
Now that's intriguing. Yeah. Are there any projects exploring this hybrid approach?
There are a few.
Okay.
Some developers are experimenting with consensus mechanisms that blend POW and POS,
Okay.
aiming to achieve a balance between security efficiency and decentralization.
Right.
It's a cutting-edge area of research,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be interesting to see how these hybrid models evolve.
It sounds like the future of blockchain is far from settled.
Yeah.
We've got these two main contenders, POW and POS.
Yeah.
Right, both with their own sets of advantages and challenges. And now we're seeing the emergence of hybrid models trying to combine the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure story unfolding in real time.
Exactly.
But with all this focus on the technical aspects, I want to zoom out for a second and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does it mean for us if one system becomes dominant?
Right.
What are the potential consequences for things like privacy, security, and access? These are big questions that we need to grapple with as blockchain technology continues to grow and impact our lives.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the trade-offs involved with each consensus mechanism and making informed choice about the future we want to create.
Right.
It's not simply about choosing a technology. It's about shaping the values and principles that will underpin our digital world.
Okay.
And those are conversations we need to be having now as these technologies are still developing.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not just passive observers of this technological revolution.
Yeah.
We're active participants shaping its direction.
Right.
So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned
Okay.
and consider what the future might hold for proof of work, proof of stake, and the exciting world of blockchain technology.
Sounds good.
We're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive on proof of work and proof of stake.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the origins of these consensus mechanisms to their real-world applications and the potential challenges they face.
We even dipped our toes into the exciting world of hybrid models where developers are trying to combine the best of both POW and POS.
Right.
It seems like the innovation never stops in the blockchain space.
It doesn't.
But now I'm really curious, what does the future hold for these systems? Is one destined to become the dominant force, or will they coexist,
Right.
each serving different purposes?
It's hard to predict the future with certainty, especially in such a rapidly evolving field.
Right, it's like the Wild West out there.
Yeah.
But based on what we've learned, what are your thoughts on the potential trajectory of POW and POS?
Well, it's unlikely that we'll see a winner-take-all scenario.
Okay.
Both POW and POS have their own unique strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
making them suitable for different applications.
So it's more about finding the right tool for the job rather than declaring one superior to the other.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
POW, with its robust security and proven track record, might remain the preferred choice for applications where decentralization and security are paramount.
It's like the bedrock foundation of a fortress, sturdy and reliable.
Right.
So Bitcoin, with its focus on being a store of value,
Yeah,
a kind of digital gold, seems like a natural fit for POW.
precisely.
Okay.
On the other hand, POS, with its energy efficiency and potential for scalability, could be better suited for applications that require high transaction throughput.
Like those decentralized finance platforms we hear so much about, all fast-paced transactions zipping around the blockchain.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they'd need a more nimble and efficient system.
Right, and we can't forget about those hybrid models we discussed earlier.
Right.
They're still in their early stages, but they hold the potential to address some of the limitations of both POW and POS,
Right.
creating a more balanced and versatile approach.
It's like a fusion of ideas, bringing together the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So it seems like the future might be a diverse ecosystem where different consensus mechanisms thrive,
Right.
each catering to specific needs and priorities.
That's a very likely scenario.
Okay.
And this diversity is actually a good thing.
Okay.
It fosters innovation and competition,
Right.
pushing developers to constantly improve and refine their systems.
It's like a natural selection process driving the evolution of blockchain technology.
Exactly.
And as users, we get to benefit from this constant progress.
Right.
But with all this talk about technology, I want to bring it back to us, the people who use and interact with these systems.
Right.
What does this all mean for the average person?
Yeah.
How should we approach this evolving landscape of consensus mechanisms?
Well, it's crucial for users to understand the trade-offs involved with each approach.
Right.
Do your research stay informed about the different consensus mechanisms and their implications? When you're considering investing in a particular cryptocurrency or using a blockchain platform,
Right.
think about the values and priorities that are important to you.
Yeah.
Do you prioritize security above all else? Or are energy efficiency and scalability more important?
It's like choosing a car.
Yeah.
Do you need a rugged off-road vehicle or a fuel-efficient city car?
Exactly.
It all depends on your needs and priorities. So
Right.
it's about aligning your choices with your values and supporting the projects that resonate with your vision for the future of technology.
Absolutely. And remember, the blockchain space is constantly evolving.
Right.
What's considered cutting edge today might be outdated tomorrow. So stay curious, keep learning, and embrace the exciting journey of exploring this transformative technology.
That's a great point. This deep dive has definitely sparked my curiosity. I'm going to keep exploring and learning more about these fascinating consensus mechanisms.
Awesome.
And for our listeners out there, we
Yeah.
encourage you to do the same.
Please do.
Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and dive deeper into the world of blockchain. You might be surprised at what you discover.
You will.
It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
Likewise. And thanks to all our listeners for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving into the fascinating world of knowledge.